Everybody knows that smoking's bad for your health and it's bad for your personal finances. Non-smokers know it, and guess what? Smokers know it too. But we keep smoking anyway. But there's another thing that smoking does. It wastes our time. I wanted to find out exactly how much time I was wasting smoking cigarettes. So I did a 1 week self-study. I'll be honest, the results were pretty terrifying.
Hi, my name's Jack. That was me you just saw smoking a cigarette in the intro. It's pretty stupid, believe me. I know, I've been smoking for years. And despite knowing the health risks and despite knowing how much money I'm wasting and throwing down the drain smoking cigarettes, I keep doing it anyway. If you're like me and you smoke cigarettes, you might be the same. You know the negative side effects of them. You know how bad they are, but you keep smoking anyway. So I decided to take a different spin on it. And it all came about after reading a book called Busy by Tony Crabb. And while I won't go into the book now, it's a great book, you should read it. It got me thinking about my time and my day and accomplishing my goals and all of the things that I want to do in life. And I started thinking about cigarettes and how they were affecting the way I was achieving my goals. And I went online and I looked for research on how much time people spend a day, a week, a month, a year, in a lifetime smoking cigarettes. And quite frankly, I didn't really find the answer I was looking for. I found research on how much money businesses are losing because of worker smoke breaks, and admittedly, it's a lot. But if I'm being really honest, I don't care about how much money big business is losing because of worker smoke breaks. I care about me. I care about you. I care about accomplishing my goals. And I care about not wasting my time, my precious, valuable time, because once it's gone, it's gone. I can't get it back. So, what did I do? Well, I spent an entire week, and every single time I had a cigarette, I got my phone out, and on my phone, I hit start on a timer. And I would go through my entire smoking ritual from the moment I decided that I wanted a cigarette to actually going and getting my cigarettes and walking outside and lighting my cigarette and smoking my cigarette and extinguishing my cigarette and then coming back inside and getting back to whatever it was I was supposed to be doing instead of wasting my time having a cigarette. Then I'd hit stop. I'd record that time into an Excel spreadsheet and I'd move on with my day, go back to life as normal until I had my next cigarette. And I guess over the years, this is something I've always calculated from time to time. I would think about it and I'd do some mental math and I'd think to myself, yeah, I'm spending a lot of time smoking, but that was it. This time, however, I had some real hard data on how much time I spent smoking cigarettes. And really, it was a lot more than even I was expecting. So, let's take a look at that data and let's see what the results were. And if you're like me, it might be a little bit scary, but let's take a look anyway and see what I found out.
So here we are. This is the Excel spreadsheet that I use to record my data and do my self-study. And as you can see here at the bottom, I have it broken down by day: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the whole week, plus all of the totals, but we'll get to that in a second. Let's start on Monday. Let's take a deeper dive. You can see I have all of the cigarettes that I smoked. There were 18 of them, so I guess I'm a pretty heavy smoker, almost a pack a day. And each cigarette has the corresponding time. The first one was 4 minutes and 15 seconds. The sixth cigarette was 3 minutes and 47 seconds. They all vary a little bit depending on the time of day and what I had going on. If I was doing it As a work break, I would often smoke a little bit faster, but if I was taking my time in the morning, I might enjoy it and stretch it out a little bit longer. I also have data on trips to the store to buy cigarettes, which is another time waster. And I was very careful that these trips were trips dedicated only to smoking cigarettes, not going to the store and doing other things at the same time. And we'll look at that a little bit more later. You'll also see some of these cigarettes are in red. These are cigarettes that I felt really didn't waste my time that day. So I have total data on the total amount of time I spent smoking, plus the total amount of time that I felt like I wasted smoking that day. And we did the same for Tuesday, and you'll see I didn't go to the store that day. Good for me. Wednesday, back to the store again, and you'll see my morning cigarette was a lot longer than usual. Thursday, another hour and 10 minutes spent smoking that day. Friday, big trip to the store. Saturday, you'll see a lot of red. I went out, I met up with some friends on Saturday, and I really wasn't wasting my time per se. I was just hanging out and chatting, and a lot of them smoked too. So I have the total time spent smoking that day plus the wasted time. And of course on Sunday. And you'll notice this trip to the store is significantly shorter than the other trips. And that's because I did go to buy food. I just happened to walk over to the counter where they sell cigarettes and buy some cigarettes and then go back to shopping. So instead of recording the entire shopping trip time, I just recorded the time that I spent dedicated to waiting in line and buying my cigarettes. So I tried to keep this really as honest and as wasteful as possible, but also as complete as possible. Now, the totals. Let's take a look. From the 22nd of July to the 28th of July, I smoked 8 hours, 32 minutes, and 31 seconds. I spent 22 minutes and 56 seconds walking to and from the store just to buy cigarettes. I smoked 125 cigarettes, and each one of those cigarettes lasted for about 4 minutes and 6 seconds. Now, as far as total wasted time goes, you can see the numbers are a little bit different here than they are on the other section. I still spent 7.5 hours smoking and 22 minutes going to the store. So instead of 9 hours, I spent 8 hours wasting time on cigarettes. That's still a full day of work over the course of a week that I spent smoking cigarettes. That's absolutely terrible. You can see here some more info. 8 hours, 55 minutes, and 27 seconds was my total dedicated smoking time for the week. That's about an hour and 16 minutes a day. And for the 17.9 cigarettes that I smoked per day, I averaged 4 minutes and 17 seconds dedicated to each one, including smoking time and going to the store time. That is scary. Even scarier is when you start to extrapolate this out over the course of months and years. For a month, I would spend about 38, 39 hours smoking. That's a full day plus 14, 15 hours. Just smoking. That doesn't even include sleeping. That's literally one full day plus 14 hours and 40 minutes just standing outside smoking a cigarette or going to the store and buying more cigarettes. For 6 months, well, that's 3.5 days, almost 4 days. Over the course of a year, I would spend an entire week just smoking cigarettes. 2 years, 2 weeks. 10 years, 10 weeks, etc., etc. That is a lot of time physically smoking cigarettes and buying cigarettes. And this is time that I'm just wasting. I'm not really doing anything productive. I'm kind of just sitting there or standing there smoking. That's it. So, what could I do instead? I wanted to know what could I possibly accomplish instead of smoking cigarettes if I got this time back? Well, I had some fun with that too, and I came up with 10 different things that I could possibly accomplish with the time that I would save not smoking cigarettes. Let's look at just 3 of them. The first is I could do 100 push ups a day. With an hour and 16 minutes of extra time and about 4 minutes and 17 seconds per cigarette, let's just call this 18 cigarettes a day, I could do 100 push ups. And instead of every push up, if I just did 5.5 push ups, or instead of every cigarette, if I just did 5.5 push ups, I'd do 100 push ups a day and I'd have a better body, I'd have a healthier body, and I'd have more money, and I would be accomplishing something that is important to me. Um, I could do 1 push up every 46 seconds for an hour and 16 minutes, and that would be much better than smoking cigarettes. Or every minute, I could do 1.3 push ups, right? That's it. Instead of smoking, if I just did a couple of push ups, things would be much better. I could also read a book. Instead of smoking cigarettes, if I just grabbed a book and started reading for 4 minutes and 17 seconds every single time, I could accomplish quite a bit. So I looked into it and I learned that the average book has about 100,000 words. Now, some have much more and some have much less, but let's just use this number as an average. And the average reading speed is about 250 words per minute. So that's about this many per hour, which means that for an average book, you could probably finish it in about 6 hours and 40 minutes. If I'm wasting this much time every single week related to smoking, I could read an extra 1.3 books per week, or 5.8 books per month, or, and this is incredible, if I stopped smoking and just read instead, I could read almost 70 books extra per year. Wow. Now, some people might say that, okay, you can smoke and read at the same time, but come on, you're missing the point. The point is that instead of smoking and instead of thinking about it, you could be doing something and getting much more benefit from it. Now, there's another example, learning languages. Over here, you can see how many hours, minutes, and seconds that I've spent each year, or I would spend each year, dedicated to smoking. So in 1 year, we've got about 176 hours, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, if you want to learn a language and you want to go to a beginner level, it could take about 100 hours of dedicated study. And instead of smoking cigarettes, if I just did some dedicated language study, listening, reading, grammar exercises, you name it, I could get to a beginner level in, almost half a year, a little over half a year. I could get to a high beginner level in a little over a year. I could get to a low intermediate level in about 2.28 years. I could get to a high intermediate level in about 3.41 years. And many language experts consider the B2 level to be more or less functionally fluent. So instead of smoking cigarettes, if I just did dedicated study time on a language every single day in replacing every single cigarette, I could be more or less fluent in a language in 3.41 years. Wild. Now, you've also got your advanced levels, but if you wanted to get to more or less mastery level, it could take 7 years, and that's a long time. But all this is not smoking and studying instead. Not wasting your time and dedicating that time to something worthwhile, something that you care about, and you can accomplish a whole bunch. Now, maybe you're not interested in push-ups, maybe you're not interested in reading, maybe you're not interested in learning a language. I get it. But there probably is something that you are interested in doing. And if you smoke, I bet you could dedicate a lot more time to it if you just stop smoking. And that's what this whole self-study was about. It's about accomplishing your goals, knowing what your values are, working towards them every single day, and making some time to do it. And if you smoke and you stop smoking, you can dedicate probably a whole bunch of time to accomplishing your goals.
So, there you have it. those are the results of my week-long smoking time study. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it enlightening. If you smoke, I hope you're encouraged to think about the time you spend smoking as well, and if it's truly a good use of your time, or if you're, quite frankly, wasting your time like I am. And I hope it gets you thinking about the goals that you want to accomplish in life and how you can make more time to work on the things that are important to you. Now, there's a lot more to this study, of course, and I wrote an entire article about it. And I also have more ideas of things that I could do with all of my extra time, and I've crunched the numbers in Excel to see what's possible and what's not. So, go over to my website, www.fatbrokestupid.com/smoketime, and you can read all about it and get even more information. And thanks for watching my video. See you next time.